Hello everyone, welcome to the morning scan for October 19th, 2018. I have a few things I want to talk about as always, so let's get right into it here. So first I want to start off with Ethereum. We're still in this short from about 204, and this still looks incredibly bearish to me. Of course, this really depends on Bitcoin's next moves, but because I believe Bitcoin looks bearish as well, I think we'll see some bearish continuation here, but like I mentioned, we did see a bounce in green because it was a very clear support and resistance flip. Okay, so we got that bounce there, but the bounce was instantly rejected at the 200 level, right? So 200 is a psychological resistance and support. So it's good to see that we had such a strong rejection at that point. That gives me confidence that our short is safe for now. So you can see we bounced here, briefly broke above 201, and then instantly got rejected. We almost closed actually below 200, actually just 10 cents above the resistance. So that's incredibly bearish. This candle we saw no upper wick, very bearish. Little upper wick, but it got rejected at the resistance. And now we're seeing a quick wick above the resistance, and now we're seeing the rejection again. So I'm very confident in this short still. On the daily, I was looking at a few levels here. So if we do break below this green on the daily time frame at least, we'll definitely be revisiting the 193.70 level. And actually, I don't want to say definitely, because as always, you know, there's no definites in trading, but I'm confident that if the daily closes below 196.90, we will revisit this second green area, which is about 193.65. So that's what I'm looking for. We are still collecting funding on this Ethereum short, so I'm very happy with that. I love getting paid to be in winning positions. So that's what I'm looking at for Ethereum today. There's really not much else to say about Ethereum, so let's get right into Bitcoin, which really matters in my opinion. So first, let me talk about this high time frame range. If you've been here for a while, you know that we've been trading off of this range for months now, and we've been really successful trading in this range. Very successful. So we're back at the equilibrium of the high time frame range. Equilibrium is the middle of the range low and range high. So we're at the equilibrium here. The 4-hour closed, 1 4-hour closed below the equilibrium, which is about 63.77. Another closed just above it, and now we're currently above the equilibrium on the 4-hour, but we still have about 3 hours and 20 minutes left, so that's not a good metric right now. But what I want to see throughout the day for our shorts is continued closes below the equilibrium. And if the daily closes below the equilibrium as well, that will be a really great sign for our shorts. And I know you guys are probably going to ask about my opinion of the long and short ratio. And I tweeted about this yesterday, but what was my tweet actually? Just so I can get the exact wording. But essentially, I believe that looking at that ratio is just completely pointless. Completely pointless. And it just gives you hopium or confirms whatever bias you currently have. So I think a lot of people give the market makers way too much credit when it comes to things like that. I always think about it this way, right? If they, or if, how was I going to word this? If, why can't I think of what I was going to say? Oh yeah, so if they really were as smart as everyone thinks they are, why would they base trades off of public information, right? And also, people are forgetting that Bitfinex does about, let me find the metric here. They do only $90 million of volume a day, okay? And BitMEX does over 1 billion. So it's not even close to BitMEX. Of course, BitMEX are swap contracts, so for every long there's a short, for every short there's a long, but still, like, people are basing the short versus long ratio on something a little bit ridiculous. And it's also worth noting that, of course, people are heavily shorting on Bitfinex, because it's still $6,600 on Bitfinex. Right, it's $6,400 on other major exchanges, $6,450, $6,400, but it's $6,600 on Bitfinex. So of course there's going to be more shorts open. That's just silly. It's $150 higher than the other major exchanges. Why would people not be shorting? Plus, the trend is extremely bearish. Bitcoin looks horrible. So of course people are going to be shorting. Right? I think a lot of people are holding too much weight with those charts. I really believe that they're meaningless. I tweeted yesterday, and some of my friends use them to help support their arguments in a very, very good and smart way. But it's just not something that I will ever use in my trading, because I just think it's, like I said, just trying to confirm your bias. But they figured out ways to use it to their benefit that doesn't confirm their bias, and I completely support that. But that's just not me, and that's just not how I trade. But anyway, enough of that. So on my intraday chart, what I'm looking for is yesterday's yesterday's low really needs to hold for the bulls. If not, we're going to revisit 6,300 and 6,250. If we are bullish, we'll see a very strong bounce off of 6,250. Very strong. On the 4-hour, what I would like to see is a wick maybe past 6,250, and then a very strong bounce up above yesterday's low. That's what I would like to see if we're bullish. If there really is demand down there, but that's the highest probability place for a long, in my opinion. I won't be longing there, or highest probability for a bounce, but I will not be longing there because I really don't think this chart looks good at all. And there's no point in closing a decent short entry. Also, we got an indicator signal to short after the daily close yesterday. So everything is still pointing incredibly bearish. So I am not I'm not getting too worried in my short. Of course, I'm going to be taking profit and moving my stop loss down and further into profit. But for now, I am comfortable in this short. I'm not worried about the long and short ratio. That's a little bit ridiculous. And that's about it. What I could see, though, is, a bounce here and then possibly... It really depends on the strength of this bounce, right? Because we could just bounce and go to above 6,500, which would be glorious, and it would take out a lot of stops. But it really, really depends on this bounce here. Is there anything else I want to mention this morning? I think we're all set, but these are the levels I'm watching intraday for now. So yesterday's lows, 63.81, which is confluent with our high time frame equilibrium, 6,400, which is just a short-term support and resistance, and all of that fun stuff. So I'm excited for today. On the daily, what I want to see is a close below, where's my daily chart? A close below the equilibrium. That would be really good for our shorts, and that would be incredibly bearish. If that happens, we'll see a dump after the daily close for sure. Or I have to stop saying things like that, but it's very likely we'll see a dump after the daily close if we close below the equilibrium, which is about 63.77, like I mentioned. I've scaled out a bit from our alts because I am very bearish on Bitcoin right now and I want to protect my capital. I secured some gains, left some running, so I'm happy with our gains for the altcoins for the last few days. Did I just see plus 500 points for BAT? What? What the heck happened to... Whoa. What the... Nice. We entered at 2.6k here. So we're up about 41%. What the heck happened here? Did news? What? Nice, I guess. Where's my chart for BAT though? So we entered at about what? Let's see. Let me see. Here we go. Oh, 2583, 2590, and 2600. Yeah, exactly. Nice. So we're up about 41% on this trade, I guess. Nice. I'm just trying to find my chart, though. Sorry. Oh, you know what? It's on this chart. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So let's figure out what the next move for BAT is. So I mentioned that if we close the daily above, what, 3100, I believe, that it's looking good. And we did close the daily above there. And we had a very strong bounce from the red box. And now, what's the next resistance up? Let me go on the weekly. What is the next strong, obvious resistance area? I would say right here. I like this area. Okay. Is there a better resistance that has more confluence? I'll look on the daily now. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Okay, so I chose that support and resistance area for a few reasons, but mainly because it was support and resistance for these candle bodies as well as a few wicks. So what I like to look for is wick confluence as well as body confluence. So I like to have my line sometimes have both of them so that it just adds more weight to my argument and more support and resistance areas. So I like to get a healthy balance of candlestick bodies. I don't want to just say bodies. Candlestick bodies and wicks. So as you can see, you know, it's pretty spot on, right? Pretty spot on. Wicked, body above it, body above it. Now it's acting as resistance, wick above it, close below. So that's really how simple it is. Just go to the weekly chart and find areas like that and see if it checks out on the daily. So that's, I guess, the next major resistance area I'm looking at. Oh, you know what? Maybe right here. Yeah, right there as well. Yeah, that's good too. Let me check the daily. Yeah, that's decent too. So 3760, which it actually wicked directly into, and then 4140 is what I'm looking at for the next resistance areas up. But because I believe that Bitcoin is on the edge of death, it will be very important to... No, not important. It will be very interesting to see how BAT and other altcoins react to that if we really do dump here. But nice, this is a good trade. 2600 is when we got in. 2600. Yeah, 43%. Cool. Nice. Good call. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. If you have any questions, as always, please feel free to ask.